Hey guys, what's up? James here to talk to you about the oversold, overbooked Video 5 that I've been promising for the last 4 weeks. So, updates in my life, just doing scholarship applications, having fun with all of that stuff, and just living the graduate life, I guess. Been taking on more responsibility at work and having fun with that, but it's about as far as we've gone. So, Video 5. These are going to be obstacles that I'm going to talk about that happened while I was pursuing my degree. First, I told myself I should have waited until December to start my program, and the reason why is there were seasonal distractions that happened, and I started the program in October. I should have probably waited until December, because in October, you still have the nice days, and during that time, you're getting your house ready for the winter. You're sealing up stuff. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're putting away, your patio furniture, and getting motorcycles ready for the winter time and all that. So I should have waited later. Then in November you hunt. Or at least I do. A lot of people in northern Indiana go out and hunt during November, during the deer season and stuff like that. So I had all those distractions that I kind of missed out on. And then I had a few others here that, looking through this, I'm like, holy cow. So, first thing in October, the other thing I did was, I had my wedding anniversary. So my wife and I left. In the beginning of October, we went to Michigan for a few days. I didn't get a darn thing done. Then this is where the tough stuff started happening. On October 21st, our dog of 7 years, Piper, died. He was lethargic, and the morning that he died, I went outside and he had a really hard time getting up. And I tried to get him to come out of the pen, and he wouldn't. I went back in the house, and a few hours later, he was gone. I think he might have had cancer or something of that nature, and it was one of those things, like, he was the perfect dog. Dumber than a box of hammers, but obedient, sweet, sweet dog. We had him for 7 years. He was a rescue. Found him digging into our trash pile at our house right after Christmas. He was missing the whole right side of the teeth in his mouth. He had no teeth on the right side, and his canine was chipped on that side. But after the canine, he had no teeth at all. But yeah, we had him for 7 years. Like I said, he was the sweetest dog. Dumber than a box of hammers. Would never leave the house. Like, if he escaped, he would stay in our yard and never leave. So, and then in November, on November 12th, my wife checked into an inpatient facility for an eating disorder. She was down to around 80 pounds. So we checked her in on November 12th, and I didn't see my wife until the week of Thanksgiving. So that was a recurring thing that happened until like February, where my wife was in treatment and I barely ever got to see her. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. On 11/14, okay, so the Thursday before that, so on the 12th, no, on 11/14, sorry, getting my dates mixed up here. Alright, so on the 12th I checked my wife into the treatment facility. On 11/15, Mojo, our other dog, he was getting used to, like, the wintertime stuff. Like, I would bring him in at night, and I would try to let him out of his pen 2 or 3 times a day to go to the bathroom and stuff, but he was always an outside dog. I let him out to go to the bathroom, and he had been really good about going directly to the leash and everything, and he was totally fine. Well, he decided that day that he was going to run off. And he jumped off of our back porch, landed awkwardly, and was limping. So I called the vet. I said, hey, I think something's wrong with my dog. Can we get him checked out? And I took him in. And I will say our vet here in town is amazing. They had him set up and had him into the office within 2 days. They were like, we can have an emergency meeting because it doesn't sound good. Well, they x-rayed him. Sure enough, he had shattered his leg. I mean, shattered it. Like, it was a big old, like, bulb on the bottom of his foot. And they did a chest x-ray that day, and then they sent out the photos of his leg to another vet. At that point in time, on that Saturday, not the 19th, the 17th, the vet told me, okay, your options are, you can do pain management, which I'd already decided I was going to do that anyways, euthanasia, amputation, those are the options. Like they said, you know, you could do pain management the rest of his life, put him down, or you can chop his leg off. And I was seriously considering the amputation portion of it, and then I think it was that Monday or the Tuesday after, she called me and she's like, well, according to the specialist, they're pretty sure that this is a bone cancer. That's why it disintegrated the way it did. And, you know, he's got cancer. So what we did, of course, I flat told her, I told her that Saturday, I said, I just checked my wife into a treatment facility on Monday. I've got this dog who's, you know, my only other family, and I can't put him down right now. So for 3 months, I had to give Mojo drugs 3 times a day. In the morning, then I would come home from work at lunch, give him more drugs, and then in the evening when I got home. It was really sad because this is a dog who was kind of like Marley. I mean, he was just a wild dog. Sweetheart to those close to him, but just a wild dog. And during these last 3 months, it was really sad because he was just always so sweet. He was probably because he was always high, but he was just always so sweet. Obviously, during this time, I was very sheltered from everything. You know, I would finish up my day and I would just come home. There was nothing else I could do. There were only certain times of the day I could talk to my wife. It was just how it was. Like I said, the first time I got to see my wife after she went to treatment was over Thanksgiving. Then production ramped up in December. Obviously, I had the epic day. And then I remember, I think it was the Thursday before Christmas, my student mentor and I were talking. Actually, no, it was the week before I completed all the classes in one day. I was talking to my student mentor, and I finally just broke down and told her everything that was going on. Because, like, my student mentor, I felt really bad because I was like, yeah, I'm doing work, I'm working on this, and I'm doing that, and there really wasn't any physical evidence that I was doing anything. So I finally just said, okay, here's the deal. You know, I've had my wife checked into an outpatient facility, or an inpatient facility for, at that time, it was like 4 weeks. You know, it's only me. I'm the one doing all of my laundry. I'm the one doing all of my dishes. I'm the person taking care of my house. I'm the one who's taking care of a dog with a broken leg who's on his last legs, literally dying of cancer. And I just want you to know this is what's going on. Because I hadn't really had the opportunity to tell her what was going on, and I didn't really want her to know what was going on. So I finally broke down. I was like, look, here's everything that's happening right now. I'm really sorry. I want to make this bet. You know, I obviously want to get things done, but this is where I am. And, you know, it was one of those things that she was like, okay, you know what? I completely understand. You know, if you need anything, call me. And then the next week after is when I did 3 courses in a day and, you know, started getting rolling. But it was one of those things that I finally had the chance to get that weight off my chest, and it was so relieving. So, okay, so January, I started through January and December, or November, December, and January, I went and saw my wife every 2 weeks. Which, where my wife was at was about 2 hours away from me each way. And it was perfect because that was my time to work on course materials. Like, I would find a nice podcast or something related to my courses, and I would listen to that while I was driving to make it easier on myself. I just have when traveling. Then on February 3rd, yes, no, 4th, sorry, I can't remember my wife's own birthday. On February 4th, on a Monday, I got to go and pick my wife up. I got to bring her home. We, kind of got to restart our lives and redo everything. And that's why there was kind of a gap in between January and February when it came to getting courses done. But I was just so happy to have my wife at home. I was so happy to be around my wife again because I really did truly miss her, and I do truly love my wife. And then, yeah, I've got two last things to speak about here briefly, but, and both of them have to do with, like, traveling and WGU. First, in February, one day, on, I believe it was 22nd, I went to New Jersey for a job interview for my company. I got on a plane at 6 in the morning. And also, this is a note. I made sure that I stayed down there at an airport hotel that I always stay at because they give you free parking. There's a shuttle to the airport. And if you're going to be somewhere for less than 2 weeks, you have free parking, so you don't have to pay to park at the airport. So, I parked my car there. Try to think. So 6 in the morning, I flew out of Indiana. I landed in Newark, New Jersey. Let's see. No, the flight left at 7 in the morning. I got there around 9 in the morning. Then I went into the airport, checked into my rental car, then drove to the facility in New Jersey, interviewed there for 6 hours, then packed everything up and went back to the airport. When I got back to the airport, it was like I was running around. I got out at the wrong terminal. I had to take a bus from one side of the airport to the other. I finally got to my terminal, got checked into my plane, or checked into the terminal, got onto my plane, flew back, landed in Indiana at about 10:30, 11:30 at night. Called the airport, or called the hotel. They sent the shuttle out to pick me up. They picked me up, took me back. Hopped in my car and drove home, and I got home at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, total of like 10 hours of travel time in one day. It was a blast, though. Had it not been for certain situations with, number one, taking my wife who had just got out of treatment and moving her to New Jersey, that would have been a little bit different. But I really did. I enjoyed the trip, and I enjoyed the place. So, that was a blast. And then the last day that I can talk about when it comes to overcoming obstacles with WGU is a surgery day that I had in May. So I got to go into the OR, watch our products being implanted into people, and doing all that. It was really cool. And the great thing about it was, while I went down, I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to book a hotel down in Indy. I should have booked the same hotel that I booked in Indy a few months before because it would have been nicer. The only reason I chose the other hotel was because it had a hotel bar, but it didn't really have a hotel bar. So I got down there, checked in my hotel, went and watched surgery for one day. But the great thing about it was the whole time I was down there, I was working on my capstone. And I actually did a vlog at that time during that day of me traveling, doing all this, getting in the car, showing the easiness, describing my capstone and why I was doing it and why I was, working on my MBA, all of that stuff. And that actually I'm going to upload after I upload my capstone because it's just kind of, or my last video 6 of this series. Excuse me, just because it's kind of fun to do a live dated video and talk about what I was doing, where I was at the time, and, you know, just all the fun stuff. Like, it was literally a one-day trip too, where I was like, okay, I'm driving 2 hours to go to Indy, I'm going to surgery, now I'm packing up and heading home, you know, and it was just really cool. But it showed the ease of use of WGU's materials and everything, because, you know, all I needed was a computer. I didn't have to pack a book. I didn't have to grab, you know, I didn't have to grab my textbooks and take all this crap with me. I had it right there. So, that was the kind of stuff I got to do. It was really cool. But yeah, this video is all about obstacles. A little proud of this one because I got through it a lot better than I did the last time. You know, oh, that was the other thing too. The week after my wife got home, we did have to put Mojo down. That still hurts. We were both by his side. We got to hold his paw, and, you know, I got to hold him in my arms while he went. But that was tough. That was something that, you know, we all have to live with, and having to put down our pets, and that's hands down the worst. We had him, actually, you know, we had him and Piper both for 8 years, and it just sucked. It was just a rough thing to do. And I loved that dog. But, you know, it was one of those things that emotionally, that's what you have to do to, you know, you gotta shove it down, in the words of Frank Murphy. But, yeah, that was the last dog we had. And actually we adopted a new dog in March, and we're getting used to him, and he didn't really have anything to do with my studies. Luckily, he wasn't another obstacle. But yeah, you know, you kind of look back on this stuff, and I think about this, and I'm like, okay, I started in October and I finished in June. I finished in 8.5 months. It's a little bit wild how quickly I completed everything, how quickly everything came together, and you think about the whirlwind of what's going on around you and how you get that stuff done and how you persevere. So, wow. That was a wild time in my life, and I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad those obstacles are over with. I wish I would have had more time with the dogs, and I wish my wife would have had to go to treatment, but that's what happened. So, anyways, that is the end of video 5. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. I hope that teasing this throughout the entire series has been worth it. So this was the quote-unquote bombshell video that I wanted to talk about while doing this. And then last week, I will talk about the end of C207, Data-Driven Decision Making, the death of me, and then my capstone. So I will discuss those 2 courses and put an end to this series. Please, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, do everything you do on the YouTubes, and I will keep providing content. I think actually next I will be providing some motorcycle riding content, and we'll start doing some stuff probably off of my page for NCU, and start speaking about what I'm doing in the doctorate program through NCU. So other than that, though, everybody, if you're a WGU student, keep it up and don't quit. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.